Well, Elizabeth, I've got to start with, where did the concept come from? Or was it your own, life that you're just like, okay, let's kind of spoof this a little bit? Or was there a significant moment that caused you to want to write this?
It was absolutely my own life. At the time, I was dating a couple people at the same time.
Okay.
And was very overwhelmed. And I was talking to my parents about it, and they thought it was funny, and I thought it was funny too. And while it was happening, there was sort of like a voice in my head, like a character's voice. And so I had to write it down, and it was a monologue, like a long monologue about a girl dating multiple people at the same time and how guilty she felt about it. And that's how it started.
What made you decide, though, to keep it yourself and not create? I mean, I know it's not you per se, but you know what I mean? Like, you put yourself
to
out
act
there
in
complete.
it?
Yeah.
Well, I made it so that I could act. I've always wanted to be an actor. And then when I was at USC, I was studying acting, and I got kind of bored. I was like, oh, I've been doing this so long. Like, I've been taking acting classes for so long. So then I switched to the film school, and I started writing and then directing and all of that. And but the web series was definitely a vehicle for me to act. But then I found out that I really do love writing and directing and being able to offer people parts instead of ask for them. So yeah, it was kind of an amazing experience.
Let's talk about those people. You've got some really good people to come aboard. This is a really big project.
Yeah, Ed Begley is in it, and he plays one of my dads. And
Which is funny, yeah.
Yeah, and I've known him my whole life, so it was really nice I wrote it for him, and I wrote it for my parents, and for Ed's wife, Rochelle, is also in it. She plays one of my moms, and my parents play my parents. I have 4 parents in the web series, and yeah, I mean, that was amazing that Ed said yes, because he's extremely busy. I only had him for one day, so he got, I think it was Ghostbusters at the time. I don't actually know what movie he left LA to shoot, but he didn't say at the time. But I only had him for a day, so I had to cut down a lot of his stuff, unfortunately. But I got it in, and yeah.
What's your fascination with multiple things? Multiple boyfriends, multiple parents?
Multiple boyfriends was just based on reality. They weren't all my boyfriend, but they were sort of kind of my boyfriend at the same time. And then the parents, I don't know. It feels like Ed and Rochelle have been like my other parents, and so I wanted them to be a part of it, and I thought it would be funny to have 4 parents. Yeah, to have a girl have too many of everything.
Yeah. Is there anything that you didn't want to put in there? Was there something that you kind of held back from your life?
There's certain people that like I was dating that don't end up in the show. They're just certain people that that aren't in it, and it wasn't purposeful, but yeah, I never wanted to hurt anyone's feelings or anything. And I think the web series was good in the sense that my character likes all of them so much, and so I paint them all very well.
Yeah.
And that was fun. It was like my character was the flawed one. Yeah, so I don't think anyone will be upset.
How much fun is it to do a web series? I mean, we obviously didn't have this capability not too long ago, and to be able to put it out there so quickly, so crisply, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
That must have been so much fun.
Oh, it was so satisfying to be able to make something quickly, and because I worked with all of my friends from USC, so my very good friend shot all of the episodes, and I just have been working with him for a while now and felt so comfortable. So we have a rapport, like there was never a disagreement or anything. I trust him completely, and then everyone that I put in it is a friend, and I pretty much I wrote a lot of the parts for the people that play them, so that was a non-issue. Like I knew what they would bring that day. There was very little I had to do because everyone was so great. And yeah, it was fun to just, I mean, it didn't take one day. It sort of, I didn't actually shoot it in one short period of time. It was sort of spread out throughout a year. Like the first episode I shot was the New York episode, just because I happened to be in New York first, and my friend that was going to shoot the episode was in New York as well because he's from New York, and so we shot that episode in 2 or 3 days, and we just kind of ran around New York City, and I didn't have any permits for anything, and we just kind of just did it really quickly. And that was how a lot of the episodes then ended up being. One of the episodes was shot a lot in Venice, in LA, and we didn't have any permits and just kind of did it. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely scary because there were certain moments where we were like thrown out of places and had to kind of readjust and shoot somewhere else, but we did. So
must be satisfying to be able to make a show that's cross country because of that.
Yeah.
And involves so many different types of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted every episode to feel different because every episode was about a different person that she's dating. And the lesbian episode is the one where we shot in Venice, and my friend who plays that character lives in Venice, so I wanted like her energy and her Venice sort of attitude to be in that episode. And I feel like it was because we shot there and she was the person, and so.
In the casting process, were you going for memories of particular boyfriends, or did you just want to cast actors that you connected with?
I think every person that she's dating is inspired by someone from my life, but I think at a certain point you depart from, I mean, a lot of that stuff didn't actually happen. It just like moments happened, and then I kind of wrote what I thought would be the most fun to do or make out of it. And like the guy that plays the Mormon character, that actor isn't the guy I based that part on, and that guy's actually very different from the actor, but that actor that I worked with I knew would bring such like charm and positivity to that part, and that I knew that everyone would like fall in love with him in the episode. So yeah, I think it was definitely more about who I wanted to act with rather than the people that they were based on.
As far as the writing goes, did you write all of it together? Did you write the episodes separately?
Oh, gosh, it feels like so long ago now. Some episodes came quick, like in New York, I wrote that episode the night before. And then I shot it the next day. But there were the rest of the episodes I had more time to think about. But I was definitely like on the day of certain shoots, like I was rewriting everything as we went. Like if I ran out of time in a location, I had to like cut 4 pages and just figure out like what I needed, and sort of problem solve on my feet. And it was kind of nice because I was the only one in charge. I only had myself to blame or whatever and to work with, so I didn't have to like go and ask anyone for permission if I could change something. Or people are always like, oh my god, it's so amazing that you did this by yourself. And it's kind of was easier in that way because it was just me, so I knew nothing would get lost. Like I was the only one that knew what was going to happen or what was going on, so it was good in that way. Yeah.
I was going to ask then, what's it being like to bring it to a festival? I mean, digital series are only now starting to get picked up by festivals.
Yeah.
And yet they're kind of exploding. It has seemed to be the new medium for everyone working, but also for festivals showcasing material.
Oh my gosh, I'm just so grateful to be at this festival. It's such an amazing festival. I've never been, and I think it's one of 8 web series, so that's like such an honor, and especially a festival that so emphasizes the writing aspect, because it makes me feel like inspired to write more and to keep making stuff. I just feel like it's a good sign that I'm here. Like I'm doing the right thing. Yeah.
How much of yourself will be, I mean, I'm guessing you're going to expand this, but where do you go from this? Do you expand on yourself, or do you dive into the other characters? What are you hoping to do with this? The big goal would to have like a high maintenance situation where I release the web series or don't, and it just like I develop it into an actual show. That would be the dream. I think I'm definitely interested in expanding on the other characters. I have to live with myself every day, so it's like it's not that interesting anymore. But writing for the people that I like want to work with, that's the best. So that's what is the most exciting, I think. Very nice.
Yeah.
I guess question about USC. What was the defining moment while you were there? What do you most remember about your time at USC?
Well, my first year I was in the acting program, and then I switched to the film school sophomore year. And then I remember junior year we had to take this class, a very basic film production class, where we had to like write 5 movies, edit them ourselves, direct them, cast them, and it was like the craziest semester of my life because I had to do everything and I was learning all these new skills, and I was crying a lot. There was one day I eat like every 2 hours, and there was one day where I was in the editing lab and I hadn't eaten at all, like all day, and that's like the only day I've ever done that in my life. But it was so stressful. But I think that I was so energized in a way that I had never been before, like to wear all these different hats and not just like show up and learn my lines, not to put acting down at all. It's a wonderful thing, but I think it can get boring because you're just sort of like sitting there waiting for someone to tell you what to do sometimes. And this was so fun to do everything. And like, in a way, maybe I'm a little ADD. I like bouncing from one thing to the next. My room is always a mess because I'm like on to the next thing. So I'm not a very, good at cleaning up after myself. But I think that, I guess it works well for me, like the movie making thing So I think that class really, excited me. And I was like, okay, I want to make more things.
Well, even though you're immersing yourself with this type of series, who inspires you? What filmmakers? What people? I mean, what's helped you become you? I guess. It's a tough question. I know.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that Nancy Meyers is being honored because she's been a huge inspiration. I think I've seen Something's Gotta Give like 20 times at least. That's one of my favorite movies. I love romantic comedies and movies that are, warm. And then I just was listening to Marta Kaufman, and I love Grace and Frankie. I'm very into that show, and Friends, of course. But like these women that have create like warm, funny content. Diane Keaton. I know she's not a writer necessarily, but maybe she is. I read her book actually. She wrote a book. But like strong women who are funny have been really helpful, I think. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the last question is, where can we find more information about you and obviously guest appearances?
Sure. I haven't released the web series yet because I'm just doing the festival circuit, and I don't know if it'll get bought or what's going to happen. But when it's released, I'm sure you can find it online. It'll be called Guest Appearances, unless I change the title for some reason. And then I have a Twitter, but it's not that big of a Twitter yet. It's at Liz Guest with 2 Z's. And I don't know. I have another web series that's coming out probably at the beginning of the year that I made with another friend of mine who's pretty successful in Norway, actually, and he and I met at USC. So I don't know where we're going to release that, but that's on the horizon. And I made this short that's also probably going to be doing the festival circuit soon. Very cool. And guest appearance is also going. I just found it is going to be at the LA Comedy Festival, so that's in November.
That'll be very cool.
Yeah.
Around the corner.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Elizabeth, thank you for bringing it to Austin. I know we're excited to have it here, and thank you for the time.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much.